Okay. And did you discuss during your recorded calls with Malmurda the business dealings that you and Malmurda had with Shadi's cousins? Yes. Ms. Harney, if we could please pull up Government Exhibit 313, and if we could have the jury turn to 313T, which is not divided into any subtexts. Mr. Rebold, I think it would be helpful just before introducing each of the transcripts just to note the date of the call. Yes, I apologize, Your Honor. This is a call from October 27, 2018. Thank you. I apologize. Ms. Harney, if we could actually fast forward to 203 into the call, and if we could start on the top of page 4. Apologies again. This will be from page 4, line 1 to end of the call, starting about 2 minutes and 3 seconds in. Mr. Cruz, if we could just turn back to page 4, line 16, when you said he was roaching with his cousins and all that. They used to come down and get the work. What does that mean? Means he was stealing with his cousins that used to come down to buy? When you say used to come down to get the work, what is the phrase the work reference to? Work means drugs. And when Malmurda responds and says he was roaching his cousins too, what does that phrase roaching mean to your understanding? Like stealing. On page 5, line 5, when you say they was bringing in some all right money too, this would be lines 12 through 13. Who are you referring to, and what is that a reference to? Shadi's cousins bringing like okay money because they used to come and buy a couple 100 grams at a time from me. Okay, and when you say sometimes when shit was slow, that shit used to help me too, what did you mean by that? Like when things were slow, they used to come and put money in my pocket. What do you hear Mr. Jones to respond to that? He said that they were tap dancing on lava. Tap dancing on what? Lava. What does the phrase tap dancing on lava mean to you? Like they were doing their thing. They was doing good. Who was doing good? Shadi's cousin. When you say they was buying like 200, 300 grams at a time, what is that a reference to? They was buying 200 to 300 grams at a time. Of heroin? Yes. Okay. Earlier, just a short while ago, you said you also discussed your dealings with an individual. Withdrawn. You said that during your calls with Mr. Mack, you also talked about a person named Angel Garcia or Gato. Do you recall that? Yes. Who is Gato? Gato's another member of 9 Trey. Did you have dealings with Gato? Yes, I used to sell drugs with him. I'm sorry? I used to sell drugs with him. Okay, and in what quantities of drugs and what types of drugs regarding Gato? Well, in the beginning, I used to sell Molly with him. I started off selling MDMA, which is Molly. He probably bought around 20, 30 kilos of Molly. After that, Harv did deal 1 or 2 kilogram sales of fentanyl. Would you recognize Gato if you saw him again? Yes. Ms. Harney, if you can just show the witness what's been marked for identification as Government Exhibit 803A. What is 803A? It's a picture of a bunch of people. Gato. Okay, and do you recognize some of the people in 803A? Yes. I'm offering Government Exhibit 803A for identification. Any objection? No objection. No, Judge. Received. Just as a reminder, Government Exhibit 803A comes from an extraction of a call belonging to Jeremiah Mack. Very good. Do you want to publish? Yes, Your Honor. If we could please publish 803A. Go ahead. Starting from the top left and going all the way around clockwise, if you see someone you recognize, can you please circle them? And when you're done circling them, tell us who you're looking at. That's Big J. For the record, you're circling a person in the back of the photograph wearing what appears to be a red t-shirt. That's Big J? Yes. Who is Big J? He's another member of 9 Trey. Please circle the next person going clockwise that you recognize. For the record, you've circled someone immediately to the right of the person you've identified as Big J, which is an individual wearing a white t-shirt all the way to the left of the picture with what looks like a cross dangling from his neck. Who is that? Jim Jones. Who is that? Rapper. Did Jim Jones, to your knowledge, have any affiliation with 9 Trey? Yes. Please explain. Says he's 9 Trey. Okay, go on. That's Nuke, Aljamiah Mack. Just for the record, you circled a person wearing a white t-shirt with a white baseball hat in the middle of the photograph? Yes. Go on. And this is Gato, Angel Garcia. And for the record, you've circled the individual on the bottom of the photograph wearing a white t-shirt which appears to have the word creep on it and a black, looks like New York Knicks hat. Okay, can you please tell the jury about how your relationship with Gato formed? It formed by we used to hang out with each other gambling. From there we started talking about what we do for a living, and he started telling me that he sold drugs, and I told him I sold drugs. Objection, Judge. Could we have a time and place that the witness is referring to? Yes. Could you tell us when that was, sir? Sometime around 2015. And how did your meeting with Gato affect drug sales for you? He used to sell most of my drugs for me. Please explain. So I used to get the Molly from China, and once they come in, he used to buy all the kilograms from me and sell it to people uptown in Harlem. Did you also sell the heroin fentanyl cut mixture to him? Yes, but it was only 2 sales. Objection, leading judge. Overruled. It was only 2 sales. In what amounts? 1 kilogram. I'm sorry? 1 kilogram at a time. And is there a reason why it was only 2 sales? Because he was arrested. Okay, can you please, when was he arrested? Around May 2016. Can you explain to the jury what happened involving your relationship with Gato in May of 2016? May of 2016, before he was arrested, he gave me around $6,500 to purchase a kilogram of fentanyl. I told him I was going to purchase it and charge him the same price that I paid so he could make extra money because he moved a lot of drugs for me previously. So I was trying to do him a favor. After that, he shortly was arrested after that. Then I just never paid him back for it. Okay, so you testified that he gave you how much money for a kilo of fentanyl? $6,500. And did you actually obtain the kilo of fentanyl on his behalf? Yes. And what happened after? And is it your testimony that Gato was arrested before you could give him the kilo of fentanyl? Yes. Did you continue to communicate with Gato after that? Yes, I communicated with him. I went to visit him on Rikers Island, and then after that, objection, non-responsive, overruled. So I continued. I went to visit him on Rikers Island. We came up with a deal that I would pay him $20,000 so he could give his lawyer. Okay, how, if at all, is the agreement to pay him $20,000 connected to the kilo of fentanyl that you had purchased on his behalf for about $6,500? So he was locked up and he couldn't sell it, so he wanted me to sell it to the people that he had uptown. And so, how did you know that? Because that's what he told me when I went to visit him with his friend named Hollywood. When you went to visit him with his friend, withdrawn. And what relationship, if anything, did his friend have that went to jail with you to this drug transaction? Say again? Objection. One moment. Foundation, sustained. You said that you visited Gato on Rikers Island, correct? Yes. And your testimony is that you were accompanied by one of Gato's associates? Yes. And it was during that visit where you brokered a new deal about this kilo of fentanyl that you had acquired on Gato's behalf, correct? Yes. Was Angel Garcia or Gato's associate with you at the time you had this conversation? Yes. I'm sorry? Yes. And what, if any, role did he have in this transaction? He was going to seek out those people and do the sale for Gato through me. And what was Gato going to get out of the sale? $20,000. And you understood that that was going to be used how? To pay his lawyer. And what were you going to get out of the sale? Probably over $20,000 also. Okay, and how did that work out? It didn't work out. Please explain. I had a lot of kilograms, so I wanted to sell my kilograms first. Gato got impatient, so then he started putting threats out to me. And then Mal Murder told me just not to pay him if he's threatening me. And did you follow Mal Murder's advice to not pay Gato back? Yeah. And what happened as a result of that? Nothing really, just argument. I'd like to show you what's been marked for identification as government exhibits 405, 407, and 408. And actually, I'd like to just draw your attention to the first and third of those documents. Do you recognize 405 and 408 for identification? Yes. And what do you recognize 405 and 408 to be? That's me, and then 408 would be Hollywood. Okay, and are those records of your visits to see Angel Garcia while he was locked up? Yes. I'm offering government exhibits 405 through 408 into evidence pursuant to the government stipulation, Government Exhibit 1005, which relates to correction records. Any objection to the receipt of exhibits 405 and 408? Subject to the stipulation, Judge? No objection. Subject to the same limiting instruction as before? Correct. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, I will receive government exhibits 405 and 408. The same instruction that I've given you now several times, including today, equally applies to this evidence. Again, the evidence of particular people's presence in jail is being received solely to explain the context of calls or visits or communications. You are not to consider the evidence that somebody was in jail for any purpose other than that in your deliberations. Go ahead. Your Honor, may we publish Government Exhibit 405? Yes. What are we looking at here, Mr. Cruz? It's a visiting report. Ms. Harney, if you can please just zoom in on the two photographs at the top right of the document. Who is that on the top? That's me. And who is the photograph of below? That's Gato, Angel Garcia. Ms. Harney, if you could pull out of here, and if you can please zoom in on the words to the right of the word checkpoint on that row. And I'm just going to read it into the record. It says visit date Friday, July 8th, 2016. Ms. Harney, can you zoom out of there, and can you please just go to below the word checkpoint to the first line with the timestamp? And it says, just for the record, under the word time, it says 7:56 a.m. Facility says central visit. Status says registered. Ms. Harney, can you please pull up Government Exhibit 408? Who do you recognize in the top right photo there? Hollywood. And who is below him? Angel Garcia. Ms. Harney, starting with the word checkpoint, zoom in all the way to the right through the visit date and down to the time. And just for the record, to the right of the word checkpoint, it says visit date Friday, July 8th, 2016, time 7:54 a.m., facility central visit, status registered. At this time, Your Honor, I'm also offering into evidence Government Exhibit 407 pursuant to the same stipulation. Any objection? No, Your Honor. No objection, Judge. All right, it's received. Your Honor, may Ms. Harney please publish Government Exhibit 407? Go ahead. Ms. Harney, can you please zoom into the photos on the top right? Mr. Cruz, do you recognize the individual depicted in the top photo? Yes. Who is that? Algermaya Mack. Who is below? Angel Garcia.